way less than 30 seconds into this movie, and I can already tell it's gonna suck horribly. I just, wow. I can't say much because I literally am less than 30 seconds into this movie, but, you know, this movie sucks. I can tell you already this movie sucks.
Alright, so admittedly I'm not the biggest fan of this movie already, and it's only been 3 or 4 minutes into it, but this movie just... There's just so many things wrong with it already that I'm just having to laugh at it and having to force myself to watch it already. There's only so far I can go with this before wow. Just wow. This movie, you need to see this movie because it is amazingly bad. That's why you need to see it. It's that bad. This movie is no sense of fate bad. Muffled dialogue, pointless dialogue that you don't even need to hear, that's completely just stupidity. and so cheap that they use the same shot oriented differently to look like a new scene a couple times already, and I'm only 5 or 6 minutes into the movie. Yes, this movie is, interestingly enough, very similar in plot material to The Incredible Melting Man, which you are seeing a scene from here. This is not from Monster A Go-Go. It's just very similar. Yeah, that was the face I made when I saw this. Oh my god, this movie is bad! Run! Jesus Christ, what is this movie doing to that man in the audience? I'm really just kind of, this movie is so bad, it's like, my eyes are stuck like this. I can't stop making this face because of how bad the movie is. Wowee. I mean, this movie is like stick a stick of lit dynamite up your ass and blow up to get out of the theater bad. Yeah, it's whoa, holy hell, it's bad. There's some, I don't even know, I don't want to know, it's bad. So it gets worse from here, trust me. And I'll go into more detail later, but this is just a quickie take, because it's just, woo. I'm sorry,
Well, there you have it. This movie is just unimaginably bad in pretty much every single way. It's so bad I'm reluctant to give it any actual rating directly, but for 2 reasons. First of all, it was directed by Bill Bad Movie Rebane in 1961, but then the production of it was discontinued until a long time later in 65 when Herschel Gordon Lewis, the Herschel Horror Gordon Lewis, bought it and basically just chopped a few bits and pieces up to make it look like a finished movie, and I guess it went from there. I mean, there's so many technical issues with it, like the camera wiggling accidentally and them just continuing to shoot, and small continuity errors in practically every single scene, and just I'm reluctant to really rate it at all because I feel like I can't really rate it because it was by definition not finished when Gordon Lewis took over, and he didn't, except for, you know, adding some things here and there and just editing some B footage and some other stuff like that. It's all B footage. It's a B movie. I feel like it's so just completely incomplete that you can't really rate it. But I can tell you this. This movie is like watching paint dry is way less boring than this movie was. The extremely slow pacing of the film, the monster, the just laughably stupid monster. I mean, I can't do it. Yes, I guess this one is absolutely terrible. The sound effects are so... And the sound effects are dialogue. Blur. Review Monster a Go-Go, they said. It'll be great. It'll be fun, they said. Y'all made a monkey out of me when you made me review this movie. Because it is tired, old, hackneyed garbage. And that's the French word that means trash.
And now, for absolutely no reason, a dense metaphor for this movie. Pointless 60s dancing with bored actresses and men who just barely know how to do the steps. Yes, this is emblematic of this whole screwed up mess of a film. It's hard to explain how bad this movie is. The number of flushes this movie would get are indescribably huge.
Well, I had to have some protection from the utter shitstorm of failure that this movie is, and I guess, I've got to work with what I have. I can only use the things I actually, have in the budget, and my budget just isn't really big enough to handle this amount of absolutely terribly, just hideously bleh, pointless dialogue, stupid plot, meaningless props that are just unbearably obvious, minimal continuity so far, and an annoying narrator that narrates things you can clearly see on the screen yourself. Yes, cats take the internet by storm at times. This particular cat, Wing Ding. Ding ding. She's the bad movie cat. She picks the horror movies that I watch. Because she knows bad movies. She literally knows bad movies. If I could get her to do it reliably, I would show you that she will literally pick the worst rated movie out of a group of movies if I put 3 movies in front of her. But unfortunately, she only does that when she feels like it, so I can't really show that. Yes, I'm not monkeying around on this one. This movie has this tendency to stick to being boringly typical of the early 60s. And by boringly typical of the early 60s, I mean very slow-paced and really cheap and really boring, just like this puppet.